Thanks, Salakia. First off, giving all honor and praises to the Most High and to His Son Yahushua. Hope y'all can hear me clearly now. Say, giving all honor and praise to the Most High and His Son Yahushua. Captain Benaniah with the battle axes of the Most High, coming to you with another Sunday smoke class Q&A. You know, any questions that brothers and sisters may have over scriptures that brothers are not too sure about, call in. Put them on the chat. Any smoke, any contention, respectfully, and I said it respectfully, because we know it could be a misunderstanding of scriptures between brethren, but the Bible tells us on how to conduct ourselves and, get those things answered. Hope brothers and sisters had a great Sabbath. We had a great class with Captain Gerald. Making sure that brothers and sisters discern when Satan is trying to enter in and learning how to protect yourselves from those particular type of spirits. I know you gave a great example with Job. Remember, a lot of time think about the situation with Job. Either was financial, the Most High God was taking his wealth, dealing with his family, with his wife, or Most High God can jack you up health-wise. A lot of times those are some of the main tribulations that brothers and sisters face, in this captivity, when you've been tried by the Most High. First precept we want to go to, let's go to 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. Because as brothers, it's our job to study to show ourselves approved unto the Most High. We want to make sure that you are studying to be able to answer the questions to brothers and sisters that may have questions out there. Being in Christianity is not teaching our people a damn thing, man. So it's our job to help lead and guide our people through the scriptures. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 15, and it reads, "But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear." So that's what our job is, as being the battle axes of the Most High, God's weapons of war. We say that on a spiritual level, meaning we fight for the Most High God, man. And a lot of times we have to fight for the Most High God by answering questions according to the scriptures. Christians, they ain't seen nothing like it, man. We just make the Bible plain, breaking down all the strongholds that we have been taught. And that's what our job is as men of the Lord, to go in, answer those questions, and give our people the understanding. Let's go to the book of Acts chapter 5, verse 38. Just simple precepts to open up with. Basic precepts that brothers and sisters know about, man. This is the book of Acts chapter 5. No, the book of Acts chapter 8. Salakia, brothers and sisters. Chapter 8 and verse. I'm going to start up at verse 27. Get a little bit more context. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell y'all, the scriptures that we go over, make sure y'all go back and read those things in context as well. Kind of get more of a historical backing about those things. Reason why I'm going to start up at verse 27, because a lot of times Christians see, just because he's a man from Ethiopia, a lot of times they think that this is literally a Ethiopian. And it may say it in the text, but with all thy getting, we want to make sure we get a good understanding. So we want to read this. That's why I'm jumping up. This is the book of Acts chapter 8, verse 27, and it reads, "And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority, under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had charge of all her treasure, and had come to Jerusalem for to worship." So we see that this is a man of Ethiopia. A lot of times Christians read that and they automatically got in their brain that this could literally be a ethnic Ethiopian. But that's not necessarily the case. Remember, when you're reading the scriptures, the Most High God always leaves us clues. So one of the clues that we could kind of harp on is said, "and had come to Jerusalem for to worship." These other nations don't worship the Most High God. Remember, Israel was scattered throughout all the four corners of the earth. And we want to get those precepts to prove. Shalom, Brother Don Israel. How you doing? Let's prove it. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 27. Well-known precept that brothers and sisters should always know. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, and verse 27, and it reads, "And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whether the Lord shall lead you." So one of our punishments for breaking God's laws, statutes, and commandments was that we will be scattered amongst all the other nations. You know, last time I checked, guess what? Ethiopian is a nation, and we were scattered under them under the time of Candace that was ruling at that time. Let's get some more precepts. Go to the book of Zephaniah. There's a lot of times they just read these things. They literally think just like with Cornelius. You know, they thinking Cornelius is actually a Gentile. No, the Bible has never been for the other nations. You know, no matter how much Christians want to soup it up, you have to read the Bible with understanding. This is the book of Zephaniah. What do I want? The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 10. This is another point. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 10. Remember, we're dealing with how we know in the book of Acts, chapter 8 and verse 27. This Ethiopian could be an Israelite or is a Israelite. That's what we teach here at Battle Axes and many other camps as well. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, "From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering." Meaning, when the Most High God sends Christ back on the earth to judge this earth and to, guess what, gather the elect of Israel, guess what? They're going to be bringing us from where? From Ethiopia. Because guess what? We were scattered among the Ethiopians. Now, is all of Ethiopia full of Israelites? No. The majority of Ethiopia is for Ethiopians, but it's Israelites, small sects of Israelites scattered among the Ethiopians. This is the same context. Remember, the Most High God's judgment is like a circle that go round and round. So we still have Israelites that are scattered amongst the Ethiopians. That, guess what? The Most High God through Christ is going to have the angels bring them back. Plain. Let's go back to the book of Acts. It's the book of Acts, chapter 8, verse 27. And it reads, "And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority under Candace." Meaning, when they captured our people, a lot of times, since we were so skillful as men, they would make us eunuchs, meaning have our private members cut off and be over the king's harem. Same thing that they did with Daniel. You know, put us in prestigious positions and so on and so forth, even like here in America, man, to where we build up their nation, you know, to the detriment of our nation. It says, "And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasure." And it's letting you know what his position was. It says, "And had come to Jerusalem for to worship." Why would he come to Jerusalem for to worship? Because he was an Israelite. Let's just make it plain. Verse 28, "Was returning and sitting in his chariot, read Isaiah the prophet." This is going into Isaiah, just spelled differently in the Greek. It says, "Then the Spirit said unto Philip, Go near and join thyself to this chariot." So the Spirit compelled Philip to join himself to the chariot that this Ethiopian eunuch was at. Verse 29, "And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah and said, Understandest thou what thou readest?" So Philip was asking, do you understand what you're reading? Hence why we're going over this Q&A constantly, to make sure that brothers and sisters get a good understanding of the things that they are reading. Because a lot of times, I'm going to tell y'all, if brothers and sisters keep reading on or further in the chapter or in the Bible answers itself a lot of the times. A lot of times, brothers and sisters are not putting the time in to read to get the full understanding. Remember, as you're reading those chapters, you want to make sure that you have an overall understanding about all of the Bible. And it's saying the same thing over and over. How the children of Israel, if they keep God's commandments, we get blessed. But if we break God's commandments, we get cursed. That's it. And it's only talking about the children of Israel getting the kingdom of heaven. That's not so hard to understand. The Bible has an audience, and an audience that the Bible is conveyed to. That's it. All the other nations, guess what, are just extras in the Most High God's plays. We're the good guys, Esau's the bad guys, and the other nations, they're just extra characters in this play that we call reality. I mean, that's it. It's as simple as it gets. And the kingdom of heaven is always and will be only for Israel. Verse 30 again from the top, and it says, and Philip ran thither and heard him read the prophet Isaiah and said, understandest thou what thou readest? Verse 31 is the point. And he said, how can I, except some man should guide me? And that thing is heavy, because the Most High God set up men, elect men to help guide and help break down the Bible for brothers and sisters to understand. That's one thing that Christian pastors are not doing in today's. I'm good, Doc. Thanks for asking. All praise, man. I hope you and the fam doing good, Brother Don Israel. So that's what the Most High God has the elect men for, to help break down and to give our people the understanding of the scriptures. It says, and how can I, except some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. So Philip was sent by the Most High God. The Spirit compelled him to do what? Go over there. Similar to what brothers do at camp. You know, we can see brothers and sisters in the spirit yearning for something, man, looking for something. We see the dismay on our people's faces. We see the sadness and we see the gloominess, man. So a lot of times that's what our job is, to engage the people. Brother, you believe in the Bible? Sister, do you believe in the Bible? Shalom, Sister Genesis. Do you believe in the Bible? Do you understand the Bible? You know, do you know who Christ is? Do you know who the Most High is? You know, and kind of engage them and pose certain questions to them to get them to feed back into us, you know, and that's the same thing that the Spirit does, man. That's it, because like we say, these pastors, they don't have the understanding. That's why the Most High God sent us out there, the true prophets, and they can't stand it. You know, we out there making an uproar, and it's only going to get worse and worse. You know, even with Trump, and all praises for that thing, man, because we know that, guess what, our salvation draw nigh. Brothers and sisters shouldn't feel no type of way, shouldn't be sad that Trump is up in the office, because guess what? We don't want now one of their ass up in that thing. So, like, excuse my French, but it is what it is. You know, he ain't voting for either one of them. Neither one of them is for the benefit of our nation, man. And we see that time and time again, man. It says, when is Feast of Dedication, and how do we observe it? So, Shalom, Brother Judah. We'll touch that in a second. I want to read this right quick. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 10. The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 10, and it reads, for the Lord had poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and had closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers. The seers had he covered, meaning the seers that he's talking about today are these modern day Christian pastors, meaning the Most High God has closed their eyes to the true understanding about the Bible. That's why when you read and ask them certain questions on like who the Israelites are, they have been programmed to say there is neither Jew nor Greek. Well, what the hell they got to do with the question that I asked you? If God made the Israelites, where are the Israelites today? And that's a simple question that can be answered through the scriptures. Where are they today? I don't want to hear about Galatians 3 and 28 when you have no understanding of that. Tell me who they are and who are God's people today, because that's what the big controversy on the planet Earth is all about. Who are God's chosen people today? And the other nations, they know who we are, but us as a nation of people, we don't know who we are. It says, for the Lord had poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and had closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers, the seers that he covered, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, meaning the visions, the prophecies that are in the Bible, meaning they can't interpret it. They don't understand the visions and the prophecies that the Most High God is given to us as a nation of people. It says, which men deliver to one that is learned, meaning you have brothers and sisters in Christianity church. They come and ask to one that is learned. The one that is learned is going into the pastor, meaning our people have questions. It says, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed. Meaning people in the Christianity church, they have questions, and they pose these questions to their pastors. And the pastor said, I cannot, for it is sealed. Meaning when they bring it up to today, brother, just pray about it. No, that's not what the Bible said. That's why we brought out 1 Peter 3:15. It said, always be ready to answer a question when brothers and sisters pose those things to you. Meaning what? What is love? Love is the keeping of God's commandments. I don't need to go to an interpretation or hermeneutics. I can literally just read it out of the Bible. And it's simple, man. But the Most High God has closed their eyes. That's why it's pivotal that brothers in these camps have Q&A, to always be ready to take questions for brothers and sisters that may, have questions in the scriptures. So Brother Judah said, when is Feast of Dedication and how do we observe it? Let's get that. So Feast of Dedication will be on December the 25th through, remember, it's 7 days. So you want to make sure if you with a congregation, Brother Judah, to get a calendar. Brothers in congregations, they have calendars. I don't know where you attend, so that's one of the main things. That's why it's pivotal that brothers and sisters congregate as a nation of people, because these different congregations, they have calendars according to whatever moon that they celebrate, whether it be the lunar moon, the full moon, or the dark moon. So you want to make sure that you get with those brothers. And Feast of Dedication is something that, guess what, that Christ celebrated. Let's get there right quick. Let me find my calendar. You've been looking for what? Where are you located, Brother Judah? Because we here in Dallas, Texas. You can always come congregate. So where are you located at, brother? Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm pretty sure it's a camp. Most High God is setting up camps everywhere in the nation, cities everywhere. So this Brother Judah that I talked to. Okay, all praise. Well, yeah, I know we had talked. So unfortunately, we don't have a camp in Las Vegas. That's why it is pivotal for brothers to get built up. Because a lot of times, I'm going to tell you, brothers have the thought to where I can't do it. I can't do it. It's hard. But when the Most High God put the Spirit on you, guess what? You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. You know what I'm saying? That's something we always love to use on Christians. But guess what? That thing is for us too, man. The Most High God gives us that Spirit to get your study habits up. Oh, right there. Thanks. To Shalom, Sister Gadai, Princess Coco. So yes, so we're celebrating ours. So our Feast of Dedication is from December the 25th to December the 31st. So remember, the Feast of Dedication is 7 days. 7 days, and you just have a good time. Like we said, we'll be doing classes on it. We have classes already up, Brother Judah, so where you go in and type in Battle Axis Feast of Dedication, so you can get an in-depth breakdown on why we celebrate the Feast of Dedication and what the Feast of Dedication is all about. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 10. So this is something that Christians don't do, but yet Christ did it, but yet they say that they are followers of Christ. We think not. This is the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 22. And it reads, and it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter. And Yahushua walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. So it's showing you, why did Christ go into the temple in Solomon's porch? To celebrate the feast of dedication. We can't play no games. So if Christ did it, guess what? We're supposed to be doing the same thing. Let's get there. Let's go to the book of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 22. Shalom, Sister Bossing Up. Shalom, Sister Hannah. How you and the fam doing? Prayers steady going up for Junior Jamie, even though we heard that some good news. Prayers still always going up for you and the fam, sis. For all of y'all. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 22, is that one on? 21. This is the book of First Peter, chapter 2 and verse 21, and it reads, For even unto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. What is one of the steps that we should follow that Christ did? He kept the Feast of Dedication. Christians cannot get around this. Whatever Christ did, guess what? I want to do and follow the same thing, man. Yes, it is a Feast of Dedication. Zakomo Mata. Yes, it is a Feast of Dedication. That's why we're reading John chapter 10, verse 22, and then going to First Peter 2 and 21 to show brothers and sisters that we should follow these things. It says, verse 22, who did no sin, meaning Christ didn't break God's laws. That's what sin is. And neither was guile found in his mouth. So it's our job to do what? Follow Christ's footsteps. One of the footsteps that he kept is the Feast of Dedication. Now let's get where the history is located. Let's go to the book of First Maccabees. Go to the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4 and let's start at verse 56. So it's a lot of history that comes with the Feast of Dedication. This is going into when the Maccabean family took back the temple from the Greeks, who had harlots running all through the temple and was just defiling our Lord's temple, man. So the Most High God put it on the spirit of the Maccabean family to do what? Fight for our temple, to take it back and to offer righteous sacrifices unto the Most High. The Greeks, they desecrated the temple, man, slaughtering unclean animals. They had whores all up in there. They had the thing filled with all different type of woodland trees. It was just a disaster, man. They just straight polluted the Most High God's building, man, in our temple. And they was going to be judged for that. You said, I know the fake Jewish people give gifts. Yeah, we can. On that day, we can give gifts on that day as well. Remember, they follow it. Remember, they keep some truths with a lot of lies. So we want to read this. We want to make sure you take this down too, Brother Judah. Like we said, after we get off the chat, after the live feed, go back and watch a full class breakdown about the Feast of Dedication. You too, Zakol Manta, if I'm saying that right, Salaki. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 56, and it reads, and so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days. So we're commanded to celebrate the dedication for 8 days and offer burnt offerings with gladness and sacrifice the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. The sacrifice that we give now is us keeping the commandments. We're making our bodies a living sacrifice. Well, you can go to our live channel, type in Feast of Dedication, and we have a class on that. Yes, you can give gifts on the Feast of Dedication. Yeah. You can celebrate your homes. That's what we're about to read, verse 57. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields and the gates and the chambers. They renewed and hang doors upon them. So even my wife, she always decorates during the Feast of Dedication, our home and the building as well, because, we want to beautify these things for the Lord. And you really want to get in the spirit of these things. People get in the damn wicked Christmas spirit. You know what I'm saying? So we need to be trying to get in the Feast of Dedication spirit. We're not thinking about wicked Christmas, man. We're not thinking about these things. Brothers and sisters need to be focused on the Feast of Dedication. Christmas is only 1 day. The Feast of Dedication is 8 days. Partying with gladness, and in the spirit of the Most High, man. It says, verse 58, thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. And this was another thing to celebrate, that the Most High God had did what? Destroyed the heathen by using our fellow brother and Israelites, the Maccabean brothers. Verse 59, moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season. What is the season? Winter. That's why we read in the book of John, chapter 10, verse 22, that was the feast day that we kept in that season. What season? The winter season. It says, of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days. From the 5 and 20th day of the month Caslu with mirth and gladness. So we see that going into the 10th month on that 25th day of the 10th month. So that's why we're having that set up, depending on what calendar or what moon phases that brothers and sisters are on, is falling on that day, from the 25th of December all the way to the 31st. So you want to make sure that brothers and sisters write that verse down, those particular verses down. Make sure you go back on the video and get an in-depth breakdown on those things for brothers and sisters that don't know how to keep the Feast of Dedication. So how we do it, Battle Axe is, we celebrate maybe 3 or 4 out of those days. Then we have what we call a ball, to where brothers and sisters put on beautiful garments, and our colors are always white and gold, so we can't wait for those things. So that will fall on the start of it would be Wednesday. So we have Wednesday to basically Tuesday. And we'll more than likely have that ball on that Saturday night, to where we can party and have a good time amongst each other without having to worry about getting up early on a Sunday, more than likely. I know we'll talk with the brews to solidify those things. So the brothers and sisters are trying to celebrate the Feast of Dedication with brothers and sisters at the Battle Axe. Reach out to us, man. Our doors be open to brothers and sisters that are trying to keep them. Sometimes we have brothers and sisters come down from many different places, so y'all can be a part of that. We'd love to have brothers and sisters there. Any other questions on the chat that I missed? We want to make sure that we do stay in the spirit, brothers and sisters, because it is spirits out there that are trying to pull brothers and sisters out this truth, trying to pull brothers and sisters out the truth. So we want to make sure that we do stay in the spirit. It was something I wanted to touch on real quick. Kind of lost my train of thought thinking about the Feast of Dedication. So yes, you can give gifts on the Feast of Dedication. It is okay to give gifts on the Feast of Dedication. Any questions for brothers and sisters? I know I know we've been seeing a lot of posts with a lot of black sisters that are mad that Kamala Harris didn't win the election. First of all, she's not our people. And a lot of times our people have been dumbed down so much to where they think just because a nation or a person has brown skin, that they mean that they have your best interests at heart, or that they are your race. Remember, according to the scriptures, the Most High God said, you are who your father is. Just because you have brown skin don't mean that you are that race of people. So what items? Well, it depends on you. So with us, we celebrated maybe 3 or 4 days out of the week. So we just bring foods amongst each other. Any particular type of food that your particular type of congregation like, that's what we bring. We kind of have like an open meal for a couple of days and kind of have like a formal meal for that ball. So what we have on our beautiful garments. Sometimes brothers get food catered. Sometimes we cook the food ourselves. So it just depends on what your preference. So a lot of times brothers and sisters may bring maybe cabbage. We have brothers on the grill all the time. Sisters bring different type of sides that they might like. So it's just really your preference. It says Zakat Matah Manta. It says, are there particular things that we are supposed to eat on the Feast of Dedication? No, there's no particular things to eat. Only particular things that we're supposed to eat in the law is on the Passover, where it commands us to eat lamb, bitter herbs, and sweet bread, or unleavened bread. So no. Yeah, exactly. I heard that too. Blaming Israelite men, and they had to have understood that. Guess what? Esau will be damned if they have so-called what they will perceive as a black woman ruling over them. They not doing that. Let's get numbers to prove that you are who your father is, man. Basic precepts that we open up with, man, for new brothers and sisters, because this is one of the notions why people are confused. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18, and it reads, "And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers." So your pedigree, meaning your bloodline, is determined by your father. Your bloodline, your race, your ethnicity, your nation, your house. All these words are synonymous with your race. You are who your father is. So when you go back and do the research, her father is an Edomite, meaning his father slept with an Elamite or an East Indian servant that he had on the island of Jamaica. So she is an Edomite. She is not a black woman. No matter how she tries to come up, I'll cook collard greens in a tub. So what? That still doesn't make you our race of people. So she know who she is. That's why a lot of times our people were just puppets in their game. Just trying to use the hip hop community, the entertainment society, since our people are dumbfounded on that, and they think that that makes us as a nation of people. With the Cardi B's and the Beyonce's and the Megan Thee Stallions and all these different type of women to try to turn out the vote. So no. Remember, black women outnumber us. Women in general outnumber us. So it was a lot of women that didn't want her ruling over, because they understand women rule by emotions. And they, when left unchecked, guess what? No nation wants to be led by a woman. We just gonna make it plain. The Most High God never had it set up that way. We just have to be honest with that, man. A lot of times brothers and sisters don't want to hear it, but it is what it is. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3, and it reads, "But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God." So the Most High God has his divine order set up. You got the Most High, Christ, man, woman, child. That is how it is. The man is the leader over the woman. And you cannot go outside of that. Even Esau knows that. Sister Bossing Up. I believe that it's another divide and conquer tactic that many of our people fell for. Couldn't possibly believe the black man fought, she lost it. And it's not, sis. Remember, it's all due to the Most High. Meaning the Most High God had Trump in that office because guess what? Trump is irrational. He's unhinged. He's left unchecked, man. Guess what, man? Things could pop off any day now. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, the Most High God has these things set up for a reason. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. Man, we have to understand that the Most High God is in control of all these things, man. So he had Trump in that thing for a reason. Man, where is my... Oh, that's crazy. And I cannot find that. Been searching for that mug. The book of Daniel. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17, and it reads, "This matters by the decree of the watchers." The watchers is going into the angels because they watch everything. They are the eyes of the Most High. Shalom, Sister Deborah, Sister Yair. It says, "This matters by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth what? Meaning the kingdom's rulership over the planet earth, to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men. So the Most High God is in control of these things. He had Donald Trump win, and it is what it is. We can't play the games with that. We can't be mad at their situations. People not running a damn thing. People laugh all the time. You wake up in the morning, you think you have something planned, the Most High God laughing at you. Because guess what? He may not have you planned for that particular thing, man. So he laughed. You think you have control over these things? Hey, a sister maybe thought maybe she was going to go to the nail shop. No, the Most High God put you on a different course. Brother thought he was going to do this. The Most High God have you doing that. So it is what it is. Famous ones, what? Proverbs chapter 21. Y'all know to add to those things, man. Y'all already know. The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So meaning the Most High God is in control of everything. He turns the king's heart to his will. Even similar to how we was bringing it out in the book of Revelations. In the book of Second Ezra, to turn these kings one against another and to repay the things that they have done to us. So Most High God has these spirits that are out there that's working on the minds of the people and the powers that be to do what? To bring forth World War III. Shalom like no other. Shalom by Hashem Yahweh Shabbarakatah. So I mean, it is what it is. The Most High God had these things set up, and there's nothing that we can do. So it wasn't the black man's fault that Kamala Harris didn't win. No. It's all due to the Most High, and it is what it is. Now, that's not to say that sisters don't have a role. Sisters have a great role to play in the nation of Israel, but it's not the role that Esau has assigned for them to do. Sisters' role according to the scriptures is what? Let's go get it. Let's go to the book of Titus. And a lot of times we learn that even sometimes sisters in the truth, they don't like the roles that the Most High God has given them, So we know if sometimes sisters in the truth, I'm not saying all sisters, but some sisters in the truth do struggle with the role that the Most High God has given them. They want a bigger role. They want a man's role. A lot of times they don't even know, even like what Captain Maccabees would always say. Most High God is giving you that gun, but you're not using it, so he is giving you that talent, but you're not utilizing. I promise a lot of times if sisters stay in the role that the Most High God is giving them, it's not nothing that their husband wouldn't do for them, man. I mean, it's not, man. And sisters have yet to understand that, man. They really be thinking they missing out on something. Do you want to change a tire? Do you want to put your motor up in the car? I mean, come on, man. And I'm going to tell you, you got some sisters that do want to do that particular type of stuff, man. No. That's right. There's another great precept. Promotion. Coming from east nor the west, but from the Lord. Like Noah said, you have a question. I have a question that's been pondering in my mind. Forgive me for my ignorance, but I was thinking while saying the prayer in Matthews, if the Most High won't tempt us with evil, then why? Because the Most High God has, when it talks about that, what I'm thinking about is the book of James. It's not saying that he won't pose it to you, but if you act upon it, you can't blame the Lord for that because it was your actions that caused you to do evil. Because the Most High God sends Satan to tempt us. We'll get that. I want to go to 1 Timothy right quick. I don't lose my thought. To show what the woman's role is. This is the book of Salaki. This is the book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 3, and it reads, the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. Holiness is carrying yourself with modesty, speaking with modesty. Here are sometimes the sisters talk, they talk and cuss harder than the men. And I'm going to tell you, man, there's some men out there that like that, man. But when it's pertaining to you changing and becoming into your nationality and your heritage, knowing who you are as an Israelite, you have to change those things, man. Put on that soft girl season. It says, the aged woman likewise, that they behave, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. not false accusers. And we hearing that even with Megan Thee Stallion. People done found out that she done lied about the interview with her relationship with Tory Lanez. You know, that lie done cost the brother a lot of his life. Now, we're not saying that sister should have been shot. The thing is, what we're saying is that we want the truth to come out. You don't want an innocent man going to jail for something that he didn't do. So if sister lied to millions of people about them just sleeping together, what else did she lie about? What else was she embarrassed about? No, not false accusers. It says not giving too much wine, because we also seen the videos of her drinking a lot, man. We see a lot of sisters that drink a lot, man. That is not a soft girl season thing. Can sisters drink? Yes. But many times when you see sisters drinking, they be some of the wildest people. They get even wilder than men, you know, at times. You know, so it's showing you the role on how the Most High God wants his daughters of Sarah to carry themselves. It says, not giving too much wine, teachers of good things. So can sisters teach? Yes. Who are they supposed to teach? Not congregations. The scriptures is clear on who they're supposed to teach, that they may teach the younger women. It's telling them who they should teach and what they should teach. Shouldn't have a sister being over a congregation of men breaking down the book of Daniel. No, that's not our respective role. It says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. So the Most High God is giving you your role, but a lot of times sisters don't like that role that they were given, you know. So let's go back up. I know Aqua said he had a question. He's been pondering in my mind. Forgive me for my ignorance, but I was thinking while saying the prayer in Matthew, if the Most High won't tempt us with evil, then why? Let's read that to get a little bit more understanding on the prayer in Matthew, the Lord's Prayer. Now we kind of touched on it a little bit. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse. Let's start at verse 9. The book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. That daily bread is going into the word. It says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. What is the will of the Most High? Is us keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. So just like they keeping God's law, statutes, commandments in the heavens, we should be doing and trying our best to do it on earth. It says, as it is in heaven, give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our debts. Our debts is going into our sins. Debts is as a similitude, a spiritual similitude for sin. Give us our debts as we forgive our debtors, meaning people that sinned against us. It says, and lead us not into temptation. So this is the part that you're talking about. So you pray that the Most High God don't lead us into temptation. It's not to say that he still won't tempt you. Remember, Most High God can work however he sees fit. So in the scriptures, the Most High God lets us know through the example with Job that we will be tempted. But he's also given us clues on how to do what? Overcome those temptations. You know, but can you pray for that? Yes, you can pray that the Most High God don't tempt you with particular things that you're not strengthening yet. But I'm going to tell you how else to be strengthened unless you go through that particular temptation. That's the key right there. So the understanding is, yes, you can pray for those things, but to overcome those things, yes, you have to go through those things at times. Verse 11, it says, verse 12, verse 13, Salakia, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So let's get some understanding on this. Let's go to the book of James. Because the Most High God lets us know, even through the situation where Satan tempted Christ, guess what? Christ was tempted. But the Most High God gives us the weapons to overcome those temptations. That's the part a lot of times that we leave out. This is the book of James, chapter 1, in verse 13. Book of James, chapter 1, verse 13, and it reads, "Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man." So we know that the Most High God has Satan as the tempter to tempt us. It says, "But every man is tempted." This is the key. Remember, this is the understanding. "But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed." Most High God is letting us know when you are tempted, meaning when you know you deal with something and that temptations take you away from keeping God's laws, statutes, commandments, then you act upon that temptation. That's what it means to be enticed. You're enticed with it, meaning you act upon it. It says, verse 15, "Then when lust had conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death." So meaning the Most High God will have Satan, guess what, tempt you with particular things. But it's your fault if you act upon that temptation. That's the point. That is the understanding. Because that lets you know if you done overcame particular type of sins that you deal with. When you're enticed by, for instance, one of the main things that we use is lust, porn. You see it a lot of times on your phone. They doing it in even more clever ways with TikTok and all these different things that are on YouTube and so forth, showing big booty Judy or big buff brothers out there, because sisters deal with lust too. Don't think that y'all don't, and they constantly showing men on there exercising. You watching that video a little longer than you supposed to, and the vice versa with the brothers. The sisters that's constantly working out in the tights, in inappropriate clothing. That's a form that entices you to where it makes you want to click on that and keep following that sister or keep following that brother. You ain't looking at the workouts. No, you looking at the brother body and you looking at that sister body. Then you start to be enticed. And then once you entice, it conceives, meaning you start to do what? Act upon it, whether it's masturbating or guess what? Looking for some form of unlawful marriage, or where you going and calling up a sister that you're not lawfully married to, or a sister calling up a brother that's her jump off, but it's your fault when you act upon that sin. This is what this is going into, if you have ears to hear. God put in our 1 Peter 3:1. It says they should be able to win brothers and sisters over with their conversation. It says, so if the Israelites that are continuing to be wicked and live in sin is what keeping us from getting out of his kingdom, does that mean technically we can be, let me see. Well, no, because that's why we have the 2/3 clubs, like no other. Remember, the Most High God has a set time and a set number of spirits that he's waiting to get sealed. Remember, we're still waiting for the 144. That's not going to stop. Remember, the Most High God, even what brother put in the chat, brother Abraham, Most High God set it one down and rises up another. Promotion comes from the Lord. So a brother that he may, remember, the Most High God already has that number sealed. These things are just playing out in real life. So no, those things, the scriptures cannot be broken. So we're waiting on the 144,000 to be sealed, and we're waiting on the 1/3 of the elect to be sealed. It's a lot of prophecies that have to come to pass. That's why brothers and sisters should be watching. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 4. "And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the tribes of Israel." So like it, verse 1. "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth," meaning north, east, west, south, "holding the 4 winds of the earth," meaning holding back destruction. It says that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree, meaning the Most High God don't give the command to those angels to work on the minds of those leaders to press the button, to start World War III and Armageddon. Verse 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, Salakia, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the four winds, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. What shall be sealed with? Let's get there. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 16. So, yes, you are right to an extent, but that still doesn't negate these prophecies from coming forth. I mean, the Most High God, hey, he going to put one aside if they're not trying to diligently keep the commandments. He's going to set up another one like no other. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 16, and it reads, bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. So what should we be sealed with? God's laws. It's no way Christians can get around this, man. You know, I don't understand what they be saying, man. Brother Abraham said, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak great precept and not lie, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. That's a great precept. Yeah, that's right. We got to go through the fire sometimes. Shalom, brother Aaron, prophet from Israel. Shalom, shalom. It says, could that James 1 and 13 go with Romans chapter 7, verse 22 and 23? Let's get it right quick. This is the book of Romans chapter 7 and verse 22, and it reads, for I delight in the law of God after the inward man, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. No, I wouldn't put that with that. There's a precept that you can use to further expound on how it is that war. But remember, Romans chapter 7 and verse 22 and 23 is basically a precept that you would use with flesh versus the spirit, a direct precept. So this is a precept that you could use with the one in what? Galatians chapter 5, verse 16, if I'm not mistaken. This is the perfect precept for that. Flesh versus spirit. This is the book of Galatians chapter 5, verse 16, and it reads, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Verse 17, for the flesh lusted against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. So this is something that you should put for right there. Brother said, what's the difference between the 144,000 and the 1/3? The 1/3 are the family members of the 140. Yes, they are. That's a great question, brother, like no other. The difference is the 144,000 are going to be God's and Christ's army. So remember, the 144,000 is only made up of men. It's going to be Christ's army. That's going to be his governing body on the planet Earth. Going to have 12,000 leaders of each tribe to set order on the earth. The 1/3 is going to be other men, women, and children that's not of that governing body. So you're going to have men that are not going to be necessarily like put over particular type of areas. Now, we'll be rich. You have your own houses and so forth compared to the other nations. But these 144,000 are going to be Christ's governing body. And they are all men. There's no women of the 144,000. There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 6. This is going to be Christ's government. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 6. And it reads, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, verse 7, of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. So when Christ is ruling, Christ is going to have a government set up. Christ is going to be the head Israelite in charge. Then he's going to have the 12 disciples, according to Matthew chapter or what? Let's get to it. So you're going to have Christ, the 12 disciples, the 144,000. That's going to be his governing body. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 28. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 28. And Yahweh shall say unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration. People talk about it's no regeneration in the Bible. It's literally telling you. It's crazy, man. When the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So you're going to have Christ, you're going to have his 12 disciples, then you're going to have the 144,000. That's going to be the governing body in the kingdom of heaven. They going to put order and justice in the four corners of the earth, man, and not going to play no games. Then you got other brothers and sisters and children that are also, like we say, are part of that, but they won't have those particular positions. You understand it? Joel 2 and 7. Let's get that right quick. You saying so that Joel will be 2? Yes, that is a good precept. The book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 7. And they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one in his way. And they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. Meaning you're not going to have friendly fire amongst the 144,000. It's a good precept for that. It says, and they shall walk every one in his path. Meaning they're going to be in complete order. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. You know, this is heavy, heavy. I'm going to jump down to verse 11. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his count is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? So, yeah, that's a great precept showing you that Joel 2 and 7 will be of the 144,000. These are going to be the mighty men on the planet Earth, man. You know, so, you know, we had David with mighty men. Ooh. He's 144,000. Guess what? They're going to be playing no games in that day. These are also can be considered 144,000 too. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 21, and it reads, and saviors shall come up on the Mount Zion to judge the Mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. So Joel 2 and 27, you have Obadiah chapter 1, verse 21. These will be considered as the 144,000. Shalom, shalom, Brother Ray, Israel, shalom. No, Joel 2 and 7 is not a precept for, no. Remember, Isaiah 9 and 6 was a precept showing you how Christ is going to have a government. So, no, I wouldn't necessarily put Joel 2 and 7 with Isaiah 9 and 6 and 7, no. But that Joel 2 and 7 can precept with that Obadiah 1 and 21, showing you that those saviors is the same men in Joel 2 and 27, which are of the 144,000. Brother Ray Israel, Battle Axis, Minnesota. Shalom, Ak, how you doing, Ak? Hope you been safe out there on that road, man. You know, we can get to see Ak for the Tabernacles So Lord's will, we get to see out for the dedication. We love seeing the brothers and sisters that stay out of town. It says, could you explain that stumbling block in Romans 9 and 33? Oh, praise God. Let's go to the book of Romans chapter 9, verse 33. Because when you read Romans chapter 9 is a Christian killers. That's what we're here for. Romans chapter 9 is a Christian killer, man. We love the book of Romans. I'm going to tell you, it makes sense until a Christian read all the way down to verse 25. I'm telling you, we can break it down so eloquently, and they think that the context changes. Shalom, two world twins in this thing. They think that the context changes when they jump down to 25. That thing be hilarious to me, man. But it's already setting a precedence when it's telling you to go back to Hosea. Hosea is letting you know that the children of Israel was the ones that God was going to say that were not his people. This is the book of Romans, chapter 9 and start up at verse 30. The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 30, and it reads, what shall we say then? That the Gentiles, which follow not after righteousness, have attained to righteousness. So a lot of times people think that this Gentile is talking about the other nations. No, the precedent is to show you that it's an Israelite is verse 25. Verse 25, let's jump up. As he said also in Hosea. Hosea is Hosea. So he's showing you, he's pulling from the Old Testament to show you how Israelites became Gentiles. As he also said in Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people. I mean, come on, man. This is showing you how the northern tribe was what? Broken off, and God stopped calling them his chosen people. So if you're not God's chosen people, you will be considered a Gentile. This is when Hosea is breaking down when the northern tribe became Gentiles. This is plain. Christians make it so hard because they thinking that God is going to save everybody. But salvation was only for and ever for the Israelites, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. Talking about the northern tribe. Verse 27, Isaiah also cried concerning Israel. Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. All praises. It says, and as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabbath, meaning Lord of armies, not Lord of the Sabbath. This is Lord of the Sabbath. This is interpreted the Lord of armies. Brothers, write it down because I'm going to ask y'all this question in next Sabbath class. Write that thing down. It says, he had left us a seed. Salakia. And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed, we have been like unto Sodom and have been like unto Gomorrah. Meaning what? If brothers and sisters had not been woken up to the truth, brothers and sisters may have been agreeing, not that you would have lived that lifestyle, but you would have probably agreed with brothers and sisters being in homosexuality. Oh, it's okay. It ain't me. No, both of it is evil. You shouldn't say that it's okay. No, we got to call those things out. Verse 20, verse 30. What shall we say then? That the Gentiles, what Gentiles? The northern tribes, which followed not after righteousness. Why did it say that they followed not after righteousness? Because the Most High God cast them away from being his chosen people. And they weren't following the commandments like how they were supposed to. Because the southern tribe, we had the temple, we were still sacrificing, we were still keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. It says, but Israel. No, let me jump back up to verse 30. What shall we say then? That the Gentiles, which follow not after righteousness, have attained to righteousness, because the Most High God allowed Christ to die to bring them back into the fold. This is what this is going into in the book of Romans, chapter 11. Being grafted back in. They thinking grafted back in is talking about joining the other nations with the Israelites. That has absolutely nothing to do with that, man. It says, even the righteousness which is of faith. Now we know that our righteousness is by faith. But faith without works is what? It's dead. Verse 31. But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, had not attained to the law of righteousness, meaning the northern tribe, because they had the law. But since the Most High God cast them off, they was not keeping the laws of the Most High. Verse 32. Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law. So now we have where it's going into with the southern tribe. The works of the law is going into the sacrificial law. Southern tribe was thinking that, guess what? Since they had the temple and they were sacrificing, that they were good, but they didn't believe on Christ. You have the scribes, the elders, the Sadducees. They didn't believe on Christ, man. They was totally going against Christ. Let's keep reading. It says, for they stumbled at that stumbling stone. And this is what this is going into. That stumbling stone that they stumbled at is Christ. Let's go get some precepts. I think you had pulled it earlier. First Peter chapter 2. That stumbling stone that they stumbled at was Christ. This is the book of First Peter chapter 2. Start at verse 6. This is the book of First Peter chapter 2, verse 6. This is the precept. I'll make sure you write it down. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. That chief cornerstone that he brought in Israel was Christ. Verse 7. Unto you, therefore, which believed, he is precious. But unto them which believe, Salakia. Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious. Meaning the people that believe on Christ, guess what? That's a precious thing, man. Because he's the one that's able to bring us salvation. It says, but unto them which be disobedient. Who is the ones that didn't believe on Christ? The chief priests, the scribes, the elders, the Pharisees. It says, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. This is the point, verse 8. And the stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. Meaning the scribes, the chief priests, the Pharisees, and the Sadducees, they were appointed to stumble at Christ. But that stumbling stone that is making reference to is Christ. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. Sure, I'll take her some things on mine as well. Make sure you get those things in order. Because that's one thing that we need less of. Esau messing with you while you driving, man. So I totally understand. I got to go to court myself on the 20th. So, and make sure brothers and sisters try to take care of those things as best as they can. Understand that money is tight, but do the best that you can. Take care of them damn tickets, man. I totally understand that thing. I know I have to do community service. It is what it is, man. I try not to give them no damn money. Because that's really all they want. They don't even want to lock you up. They want your money. You know what I'm saying? So you understand it up. Make sure you write that down. Gotta write that thing down. CD help making bus with that gives. Yeah, because we got a lot of brothers that drive trucks. When I'm talking about Brother Ray, through other brothers in our congregation that drive trucks. So yeah, that's a good thing. Captain Jerobal been driving trucks for a long time, for forever. So it's a great thing. Says Khan, if I already paid off my fines and finished all the classes for the DOI, can I possibly get it expunged from? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. I know it takes a little while. Matthew 13 and 11, he says, and he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. That's right. That's a great precept. That's right. It's not given to everybody to understand this truth. It wasn't given to the Sadducees, the scribes, and the chief priests, the elders, because they wanted to be the head Israelites in charge. No, Christ already appointed us a head, and they didn't understand it throughout the scriptures. The scriptures in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15 and 18 commands us to listen to Christ. It literally commands us, man. Let's get there right quick. 18 and 18, man. That's literally a law for us to listen to Christ. People don't even understand it because it's not literally saying it. But he who have ears to hear. That's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verse 18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto me. And I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto all them. And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command them. And it shall come to pass that whosoever would not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. Meaning, Most High God is going to require your spirit. Now, he's going to kill you if you don't listen to Christ. That's who the Most High God is setting up to rule this earth. You know, it is what it is. We can't play the game. What other questions? I know, brother, that's some good questions, man. You know, like no other, especially that question with the 144,000. You know, it might be a class to kind of go into as well. Great precepts. Let's get that Matthew 13 and 11. A lot of times, our people still don't understand that. Shalom, Sister Danielle. Shalom, sis. How you doing? A lot of times, our people still don't understand it. And I know a lot of times brothers speak about that when we out there at camp. Why they just don't understand it? Hey, it's not giving everybody to understand, man. I don't give a damn how simple you breaking it down. Like how we read in Isaiah 29 and 10. Most like God put the spirit of deep sleep upon them, man. To whether or not they cannot get the understanding. I don't care how plain you make it. We always read in the book of Sirach, it's plain into the holy. You know. Yeah, all is well, sis. Hope all is well with you too, sis. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 11. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Meaning to 2/3 of our people is not given. This damn sure not given to the other nation. So why they constantly at odds? They don't understand how we understand the breakdowns. How did y'all get their understanding? Y'all didn't never go to these schools. You know, y'all didn't never was taught hermeneutics or how to exegese and eisegete scriptures. You know, y'all weren't taught these things, and it's a good thing that we wouldn't. You know, the Most High God put his spirit on us to learn these things and learn men. That's right. Another great precept, Exodus 23 and 20. It says, were we speaking Hebrew before or after the language changed during the Tower of Babel? Yes, we were speaking Hebrew from that time. Hebrew was one of the first languages. Shalom, Yaakov. One of the first languages is the first language. And that's what the word Eber means. Let's go to the book of Genesis. I want to make sure y'all write these things down. What do I want? Lamech, Methuselah, Eber. But yeah, we can most definitely say that. I'm trying to find this scripture. Okay, Adam's descendants. Jarrell. Mech. Bear with me. Jared. Look at this. The book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse. Start at verse 24. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 24. And Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. This is where the word Hebrew comes from. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. And his brother name was Joktan. So we see, like we say, even with Eber, this is where the word Hebrew comes from. Ultimately, a part of the languages. Even we would say, now, understand this. The Bible doesn't literally say, but we could probably assume from the time of Adam that they were speaking Hebrew, because like we say, that's our original language. And we say if Adam was the chosen man of the Most High, surely the Most High God would have him speak in Hebrew. Let me keep reading down. Verse 11, chapter 11 and verse 1. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Now, it doesn't literally say the Hebrew. Now, by the many scriptures that brothers can pull, we know that Christ spoke Hebrew. We know even going back up to chapter 10 and verse 25, this is where the word Hebrew comes from, Eber. So we know a lot of times your language is attached to your nationality. It's also attached to your culture. People know these from in times past. So according to that, yes, I would say that. Then after that, that's when we have the languages being divided up. They say another great precept, Matthew 13 and 13. That's why he's speaking parables. It says, Captain Benaniah, the children are asking about the superpowers and new bodies we will get there. That's some heavy stuff right there. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians. New powers, new bodies, even with a bow of steel will be broken. So just think about the bodies that David had. He was able to bend steel, break steel. Let me find that. Somebody find it for me. Yes. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 34. So, yes, Lord's will, brothers and sisters, make it to the kingdoms. We'll get those new bodies to where we'll be able to do great things. Think about some of the things that we're able to accomplish today. And we don't have these bodies, just let alone we get these bodies. You have the angelic bodies. Hey, they could stand in the sun. They understand the weight of fire. This is some heavy stuff. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 34. I'm going to start up. 31. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 31. For who is God save the Lord? Or who is a rock save our God? It is God that girded me with strength and making my way perfect. He making my feet like hinds feet. What is a hinds feet? Hinds feet are the feet like a deer. You think about how fast a deer run. They can run 30, 40, almost 50 miles an hour. Deers are very, very fast. Very fast. You look at Usain Bolt. You look at the brothers that ran in the Olympics. I forget the one brother name. But we have many, many brothers out there. Even when I was coming up, what was the brother's name? Michael Johnson. Brother was fast, man. You look at Jesse Owens. These brothers was fast. Even the sisters. Judah, Benjamin, Israel, period, can run. It says, he making my feet like hinds feet and setteth me upon high places. He teacheth my hands to war. Like, it's not a coincidence on how blacks and Hispanics and Indians, we naturally know how to fight. A lot of us do. We ain't saying all of us, but we naturally know how to fight. A lot of times, that's why Esau, they rather shoot us, man, because they know they couldn't stand a chance with us in hand-to-hand combat, man. They just can't, man. We're going to call it like it is. It's not a coincidence that we the best boxers. Like you see with Mayweather, what you see with Ali. When you think of knockouts, all you think about is Tyson. You don't think about no damn Edomite. You don't think about no other nations. You don't think about no East Indians. You don't think about these other nations, man, because they know that they can't stand a chance with us in the ring, man. And this comes from the Most High. And this is just on a lower level. Just wait till we get those spiritual bodies, man. We're going to be like a 144,000 hoax out here, man. It said, he teacheth my hands to war so that a bow of steel is broken in mine arms. Think about that, man. That's some heavy stuff. Steel is one of the hardest metals on the planet Earth. We breaking steel. You know, that's what those new bodies that the Lord would give us in that day would have us doing. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15. Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse 53. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. You know, that's some heavy stuff. You have immortal bodies. You won't die. You won't get sick. You won't be weak. You know, this is some heavy stuff. You know, those spirit celestial bodies, man. You have angels standing in the sun, man. Let's get that in the book of Revelation. I said, brothers and sisters, got any questions? Feel free. What you got in there? 1 Kings chapter 8, chapter 18. Which one is we'll go there next. Go to Revelations. What do I want? Revelations chapter Salaki. Chapter 19, verse 17. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, chapter 19, verse 17. And it reads, and I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice. How is an angel able to stand in the sun? Because the Most High God is giving them that particular power to be able to do that, those celestial bodies. Like how we read in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 38, man. You know, that's some powerful stuff right there, man. It says, and I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God. We're going to have an angel standing in the sun. He's going to be calling the birds together to tell them to basically clean up the planet, to eat the bodies of these dead people that Christ done killed, man. You know, so, hey, we can only imagine in that day. You said 1 Kings chapter 18? 1 Kings chapter 18 and verse 46. Yeah, that is a good one. This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 46. And the hand of the Lord was on Elijah, and he girded up his loins and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. So you know he beat him there. So you know that he was, hey, I'm talking about running fast as hell, man. You know, that is a good precept. Yeah, all praise, Doc. That's what this is for. Like no, it says, come, what's your take on the doctrine that because Yahweh Shai had the laws in his heart and kept all the commandments, he was more likely? What? Nah, hell nah. If he had them, that means he did wear fringes. Nah, Christ wore fringes. That's without a doubt. So, and we know that Christ did no sin. We literally read that in 1 Peter 2 and 22. If he did no sin, that means Christ wore fringes. And it literally tells us and give us a reference in the scriptures when a woman grabbed the hem of his garment. When you look up hem of garment, it's going into fringes. So yes, Christ wore fringes. Christ most definitely wore fringes. That's without a shadow of a doubt. So when I was right, touch the two touch me. No. Not just that one I want. 22. Yeah, I want him. It says, and I can write that with that. So another one, let's go to another one that I want. Is it Luke? Let me see. Hem of garment. The border of his garment. I get this one and get the other one. This is the book of Luke, chapter 8 and verse 44. Going into the woman who had an issue of blood 12 years. The book of Luke, chapter 8, verse 44. Came behind him and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood statched. So we got this one. I want the other one, and I want the hem, because then you can look those things up. The hem of the garment. But y'all make sure y'all write these things down. Yes, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 9 and verse 20, and it reads, and behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. So when you look up this word hem of garment, and you look this word up in your Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, you look these things up. Yeah, I know, right? Do me a favor, you see my Zondervan in there? Look on my side. When y'all look up this word hem of garment in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, it literally tells you tassels or fringes. All praise, Sister Susanna Israel. That's what they for, to help brothers and sisters. My Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. No, that's my old Bible. Y'all forgive me. You see it? Thanks. Thank you. So when you look this word up, hem of garment, that's why these things come in handy. The Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Brothers and sisters need to get these books if y'all don't have them. This can help y'all with y'all studying. When y'all seeing words, y'all can look these things up, get a better understanding, and get also other precepts. Yes, so it's on page 224, hem of garment. It says fringes or tassels on the border of a Jewish outer garment. It literally tells you in the reference numbers 5 and 38. 15, 38, 39, Exodus chapter 28, other precepts as well. So it literally tells you that, Christ. So you should wear your fringes. That's a part of brothers and sisters letting their light shine. You have brothers out there that's scared to wear and that makes you a target. Brother, you are already a target because you black. You might as well be a target while keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments, because that's the only protection that you got. You know what I'm saying? So yes, wear your fringes. Yes, it reminds us to keep the commandments. Brothers should be in that spirit. It says, I forgot the precept, but why was it not a sin for the priest to cook the showbread on the Sabbath day? That's a good question. It says it was not a sin for them because it's lawful to do well on the Sabbath. So remember, we still had to give sacrifices to the Most High on Sabbath days. So it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath. That's what that is making reference to. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 12. Because they asked Christ the same thing. Why was he healing on the Sabbath? Christ was literally breaking it down to him. It's lawful to do well on the Sabbath. Go to the book of Matthew. Now, you don't just take this scripture and just run with it. I'm going to buy me some McDonald's because I was hungry on the Sabbath, Or you doing things, no, you already have things in place just because. And you just using it's good to do well on the Sabbath as an excuse. No. Prime example. You may have a brother or sister that may be sick and they may need medicine. Now, would you not buy something and that illness that they have could get worse and worse? No, you can go and buy something. You know what I'm saying? In particular cases like those where it's needed. Brothers have to have discernment in that matter too, though. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 1. At that time, Yahushua went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were in hunger and began to pluck the ears of corn to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. So they was going through and they plucked the ears of the corn. And the Pharisees saw it and they was getting on them, saying that they shouldn't be doing it because they was being over righteous and not really understanding the law. Let's see what Christ said. But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was in hunger, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of God and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests. So we know when you go and read in the book of Leviticus on how the priests conducted the sacrifices, they had to get things in order and in preparation for the Lord. This is what he's making reference to. It says, or have you not read in the law on how that on the Sabbath days, the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? Because if you have to offer sacrifice to the Lord, you have to have men to do those things. So, prime example, when brothers and sisters are congregating, the Bible says it's no work, but who's going to get the food prepared for us to eat after Sabbath class? Who's going to help straighten back up the building on Sabbath class? Come on, this is where brothers and sisters have to understand over righteousness. You have a brother that's over righteous. No, I'm going to leave it dirty. Then you come back as all type of bugs every damn where because you're trying to be over righteous. No, you're going to clean it up. That's the work to be done because it's as a representation of the temple. Still had to do work in the temple. Priests still had to light the incense. They still had to light the manure. They had to keep those things burning constantly. So people still have a work to do. That is the work of the Lord. So that work is okay. It says, or have you not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple, talking about himself. It says, but if you had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, and you would have not condemned the guiltless. It says, for the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. Now, Christians have used this to say, oh, Christ kept the Sabbath for me. This is not what this is saying. Meaning Christ is the one to give us mercy when we have a mishap on the Sabbath. Not that you don't have to keep the Sabbath day. No, this is not what this is saying. Let's keep reading. Verse 9. And when they had departed thence, he went into their synagogue, and behold, there was a man which had an hand withered, meaning he had a broken hand. And they asked him, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? That they might accuse him. And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, he would not lay hold on it and lift it out? Meaning, what brother we bring this up to today, you have a brother that have a flat tire. So you mean to tell me you're not going to help your brother and he don't have a spare, you ain't going to help your brother change that flat and then go get another so you can maybe keep going on the way to camp? Come on. No, brother, I'm going to leave the car there, brother. We'll just get it after the sun go down, and somebody might take your car. And that's where you brothers have to stop blurring that line between being over righteous. No, help the brother change the spare, and you need to go buy another spare tire. You have to do that, man. Stop being over righteous, man. You're going to destroy yourself doing that. I'm going to tell y'all going to mess yourself up because you trying to hold yourself to them to that status, and Most High God gonna make good on that thing, man. Hey, brothers have to check their spirit on that. Let's keep reading. Verse 11, he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, he would not lay hold of it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore, this is the point, says it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days. It is lawful. You have a brother needs a tire change. Guess what? You're going to help your brother because ultimately that is following the law. That's you loving your brother as you love yourself. So I hope you understand that, sis. It says, border of the garment throughout the generation. So what did the lady touch on his border? She just touched his fringes. That's all. That's all that is making reference to. She just touched his fringes. That's a good question. Discern waters. What is transfiguration? Transfiguration is what the Most High God had Christ show the disciples him in his glory, meaning they seen him with his power, like how he's coming back on the earth. That was a beautiful thing. Let's get that right quick. You say you don't see Matthew's 19:20 in the Zonomy. Oh, not on that one. It's just making reference to Salakiot. Just making reference to Numbers chapter 15, verse 38. So yeah, it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath day. It is lawful. You don't take advantage of it, but you use it with grace and with mercy. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 17. So remember, even with David, he didn't sin because, and Christ didn't sin. I'm going to tell you, man, Christians wicked as hell because they'll go to this scripture. They say that Christ did no sin, but then they'll go to this scripture and believe what the scribes and the Pharisees say. Then when we bring it up again, they tell you that the scribes and the Pharisees weren't right. I'm like, Christians are hell, man. I'm not going to even lie. Christians are hell, man. So you mean to tell me that Christ broke the Sabbath when he is Lord of the Sabbath? Christians don't understand the Bible, man. They don't understand it. Precepts that brothers can use for that is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 24, showing you that it's not lawful for you to pick the corn, but it is unlawful for you to try to use it to sell or pick so much. Let's get that right quick for reference. 28 and 24. Is that what I want? Is it 20? Deuteronomy 28 and 24. No, it's something else. Bear with me, but it's not. It's Exodus. I wanted that one too. The sun go down. First of all, Lucas. Can't be that. $22. Bear with me, y'all. Yes. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 25. This is what y'all should put for that Matthew's chapter 12 and verse 2. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 25, and it reads, when thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbor, when thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand. So you can pluck the ears with your hand. It says, but thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbor standing. So you can pick it off with your hands, but it's going against the law to use a sickle to cut it down. That's where you go into the work part. So what Christ and the disciples did was lawful. They can pick it, but you can't use a sickle to cut it down. You know, in cases of when you are hungry. Now let's go to the Transfiguration. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 17. I got to write that down. Deuteronomy 22. See, we even take notes. You know, brothers and sisters, hey, y'all got to learn, man. Y'all better start taking them damn notes, man. Take the notes. Y'all better start taking them, writing them things down. How else would you remember, man, unless you just got a good damn memory? Deuteronomy 23 and 25. See, I got Deuteronomy 28 and 24 for another reason. Write that thing down. They try to use that to say that, but no, he didn't. And it's another precept too I got to find. So discern water says, what is transfiguration? Transfiguration is when Christ transformed into his glory. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 1. And after 6 days, Yahweh shall take it Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them into a high mountain, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, meaning Christ showed him his glory. You know, he showed them his power. You know, that's what this is going into, transfiguration. It's the same thing on how Israelites will get those spiritual bodies to be changed in an inkling. It says, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun. Why? Because it's making reference to Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 1. When your face shine as the sun, that means you're endowed with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It says, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elijah talking with him. So Most High God was giving them and showing them visions. Verse 4, then answered Peter and said unto Yahweh, Lord, is it good for us to be here? If thou wilt, let us make thee there 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. So they was asking, is it good for us to be here? Hey, since they seen Elijah and Moses, they like, hey, let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. Verse 5, While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. So the Most High intervened and was like, no, it's no equality with Christ, Moses, and Elijah. Christ is above those men. That's why he said, This is my beloved Son. Hear ye him. Ultimately, guess what? We listen to Christ. Christ is the head Israelite in charge. But that transfiguration is Christ being showed in all his power and all his glory and all his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All praise, Sister Susanna. It says, no, I was making a point to show you that Christ wore fringes if people don't. Oh, that's what I was bringing out. What you talking about? That's what I'm teaching on. Yeah, for real. I mean, hey, that's a genius level. There's thousands upon thousands of precepts up in there. Brothers got to have one hell of a memory. Even if you go into the interlinear concordance in the blue letter for Matthews, it says him is a fringe. Yeah, there's no way that Christians can get around that. They literally want to see it in there. Christians I love them to death, but Christians is hell, man. They say they want it plain in there, but then when you read a plain scripture that's come from Christ, they run the Paul. How he tell you to make it to the kingdom. Oh, yeah, I totally understand it. Yeah, but he already know that's what we teach, so I can already know. Yeah, like he said, he was making the point that Christ wore fringes, but that was the point that I'm explaining and bringing out. We already know where to go with this thing. Khan, not same here, Brother Dunn, Israel Khan, Yashallah. Remember, we got new moons coming up, brothers and sisters. And going in the 9th month, going into getting ready for the 10th month, Feast of Dedication. So make sure y'all get ready for those things. Any other questions? Now we're approaching the 2-hour mark. Approaching the 2-hour mark. Hey, shoot, we can answer them to that time too. Actually, Bruce love going answering questions. That's why I tell brothers and sisters, hey, if y'all got something to add on to it, put it in the chat. So, the questions that brothers and sisters have, hey, ask them. This is the time. Brothers and sisters have them, and we take the time to answer those things, man. It's not a burden, man. We love doing these things, man. Love to do it. It's another one that I want in let me go back to that Matthews. Because remember, a lot of these classes, brothers and sisters, we have already done extensive breakdowns on. So, Shalom, Demiris, Rashawn, Shalom. So if you want, like you say, in-depth breakdowns on these things, that's what we're here for. I was asking for 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 24. I know that's one that we always get to. A brother that was new to the truth. He knew a little bit about it. He was reaching out and asking about that. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 24. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 24, and it reads, What shall I do unto thee, O Jacob, thou Judah, wouldst not obey me? I will turn me to other nations, and unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes. So when it talks about that, it's making reference to, like we say, like the northern tribe. Remember, the Most High God cast them off from being his chosen people. That's why he literally only said it, what? Thou Judah. He didn't mention the other 10 tribes. Remember, the other 10 tribes was known as Israel. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was known as Jews, basically. That's a good question too, sis. So remember, you want to make sure you understand Hosea. Let's go to the book of Hosea. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 9. The book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 9. Then said God, call his name Lo-Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. So Hosea is giving the prophecies on where the Most High God cast off the northern tribe for their idolatry. So they were not God's chosen people anymore at this time. Verse 10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in that place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people. I mean, there's going to come a time where the Most High God was going to do what? Bring them back into the fold of being his chosen people. So this is why we always ask brothers and sisters about understanding the captivities. Ezra was in the Persian and Mede captivity. The Most High God started bidding him back to the marriage when Christ came on the scene, which was in what captivity? The Roman captivity. So this is what this is making reference to. You want to make sure that you write down Hosea chapter 9 and verse 10. Then we're going to go back. Let me keep reading. Verse 10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. Verse 11, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel, meaning the northern and the southern tribe, be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land. For great shall be the day of Jezreel, meaning it's going to come a time when the Most High God put the 12 tribes back together again. So Hosea was prophesying the split. He was prophesying the downfall of the northern tribe. And he was prophesying what? The returning or the grafting in together of the two tribes. Also making reference with what? Romans chapter 11. Now let's go back. Now, since we got that history, you should be able to understand it a little bit more. This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 1, verse 24. What shall I do unto thee, O Jacob, thou Judah, meaning southern tribe? Wouldst not obey me? I would turn me to other nations, and unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes. Let's get some more precepts. Go to the book of Amos, because let's deal with that and give my name, because Christians, they'll see that and think that it's talking about other nations. But why did it reference other nations? Because Israel would be scattered amongst other nations. Brothers and sisters, Christians, I'm going to tell you, Christians always lose that concept. They don't understand that the Israelites were scattered amongst all nations. So it's always talking about Israelites coming out of those nations. Let's prove that, man. Let's go to the book of Tobit, chapter 13. This is the book of Tobit, chapter 13 and verse 3. And it reads, confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he had scattered us among them. This is literally letting us know we have always been scattered amongst the Gentiles. So when we go and teach these nations, we talking to the Israelites that have been scattered in these nations. Those are the nations that is being called by his name, the Israelites that are in those nations. Let's go to Amos, chapter 9, in verse 9. This is the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 9. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Meaning the people that'll be saved, They're going to be saved. Verse 10, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, meaning the 2/3, which say the evil shall not overtake us nor prevent us. Verse 11, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof, meaning the divide, meaning the split, meaning he's going to bring the northern and the southern tribe back together again. Because during the time of David, that's why he's making reference, they was together. 12 tribes was all together. It says, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all of the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. How are the heathen called by the name of the Lord? Because they call themselves Christians. They call themselves Jewish. This is how they are called by the name of the Lord, but they are not really the called of the Most High. Shalom, Sister Jerick Israel. Shalom, sis. So this is what this is making reference to. Those nations that are called by his names are the Israelites scattered amongst those nations. And they put in a great precepts in there. Sis said, when it comes to handling young adult children, what Bible book, chapter, and verse needs some guidance? So even like what Ak is putting in the chat, Proverbs chapter 23, verse 13. I know Ak is putting verse 14 as well. One of my favorite ones to go to Sirach. Let's go to there. Go to the book of Sirach, chapter 30. And this is one I like. You want to make sure that you take down Proverbs 23 and those things too. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 1. And it reads, he that loveth his son causeth them oft to feel the rod. Meaning, when your son or when your children get out of order, you got to get on them. Sometimes you may have to beat their butts. And like I said, you have to beat them on the side. You said, it says that he may have joy of him in the end, because by you getting on your children, that teaches them that guess what? They just can't do anything that they want. That is consequences for their actions. And as they grow up, they'll know that in the end, like, dang, my daddy got on me for me to understand this in these latter times like this. My mom got on me for me to understand this in this particular moment, that I just can't do whatever I want. That is rules and regulations that I got to abide by. It says, he that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him and rejoice of him among his acquaintance. So when you are disciplining your children, they don't embarrass you when you're around other grown people. You could tell a child that don't get corrected, because guess what? They can make a mockery of you when you're around other grown people. Then that's when that embarrassment set in, like, damn, I'm not doing right. Because they start to say things that, guess what? You let them say at home and you don't check them on, and then they embarrassing you behind when you're amongst other grown people, and you know you're not doing it. So it's very important that brothers and sisters do what? Chasten and getting on and correct your children, man. Can't play the games. Don't play with them like they're your friends, like they're your homeboys. No, get they behind chores to do, making sure they cleaning up their room, washing their clothes, making sure that they earn the things that you give them. It's nothing wrong with you want to do good for your children, but you want to make sure that they earn those things too. Not thinking that everything is just going to be given to them. It says, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Meaning, you're training up a child in the way that he should go, that he don't depart from these things, and that they continue that legacy with, guess what, standing on the law, statutes, and commandments. Esau hates that thing. Right now, they loving our children being out of order like that, man, being locked up, because it helps them make more money by locking up our children, especially for private incarceration prisons that Esau loved to make money off of. This is a good chapter for you to read to them, sis. It says, though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, meaning when you instill certain spiritual values in them in God's law, statutes, commandments, they don't need no correction. So they're not missing their father, even though fathers are very important, or any parent for that matter. But you done taught them well enough to where it's like that their daddy is still with them, because they still applying what he have been drilling into them up until he died. It says, though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he had left one behind him that is like himself. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful, because he know that his son going to continue in his legacy. Guess what? Being a good man, like how that father was, walking in the law, statutes, and commandments. So this is always a good chapter for you to read to the children. I just got discipline your children as a subtitle. There's many other precepts that you can go to. Psalms 127, Proverbs chapter 22. Jump down to verse 11. It says, give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. When it talks about give him no liberty, meaning monitor the things that your children do. We have to find out certain things that is on a little bit of our phone. You have to get his phone changed. Certain inappropriate things. Got on his behind. Told his friends don't be sending text messages like those. Got on the friends too, because we're like father and mother figures to them too. They all come over to the house and so on and so forth. So I coach them in basketball. So don't think that I'm not getting on them too, So you have to monitor the things that your children do. Because you got TikTok out here, you got YouTube, you got these things that are constantly trying to do what? Cause our children to go off. This is what this means. Give them no folly. Watch what they watching on their phones. Periodically go and check those phones. It says, give him no folly in his youth, and wink not at his follies. Meaning when your child or your son goes off, don't play with him like a game. No, this is not a laughing matter. I'm finna get on your behind and let you know that this is a serious matter. And get in there and wash and clean up that kitchen. Clean up your room, clean up your bathroom. Don't play with them when they do disobedient things. You have a lot of parents out there that's like that they want to be their friend. No, you are a parent. You are not their friend, man, and that you must instill that in them, man. It says, bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient to you. So it's very important that you instill these things in them while they are children, so they can understand more and more when they get old. So this whole chapter, sis, you can go over with them, sis. Like we say, Proverbs 23, Proverbs 22. Yeah, that's right. The mirrors, Rashawn. We everywhere. We everywhere. Like you say, train up a child. That's right. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. That's right. Yes, that most definitely applies to grandparents too. Anyone that is taking care of raising up children, that most definitely applies to them. Like we say, this is how we're supposed to raise our children according to the scriptures. Remember the Bible is giving us instructions on how to guide our lives, on how men supposed to act, on how women supposed to act, how children are supposed to act, and how we're supposed to guide our families. All those instructions are in there, all of them. But with that, we don't have any other questions. I want to give all honor and praise to the Most High and to His Son Yahushua. I pray that brothers and sisters edify. Remember, brothers and sisters, it's not only help y'all, but this also help us, as well as being leaders and teachers, keeping us fresh on the precepts, putting on our spirit to read over certain things more and more. That's right. We should love this book of ours. I'm glad that you said ours too. So like I said, if any brothers and sisters ever need counseling, reach out to the leadership of Battle Axes. We have our number in the chat. Reach out, man. That's what we're here for, man. You know, we know brothers and sisters are dealing with certain things, maybe certain spirits. We want to give you the proper precepts for you to meditate on and to overcome those things ultimately. You know, we always tell brothers and sisters to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So let's go back to that Sirach. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'll pray the same here. Don't let these spirits get to y'all, man, especially at that job. You know, we got these wicked holidays coming up with Thanksgiving and wicked Christmas. Don't let these spirits jump on y'all, man. Don't let them jump on y'all. They seeking out whom they may devour, man. They really are. Let's get a law. Let's go back to that Deuteronomy chapter 23 for that. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 24. This is going into, remember, a lot of these laws are set up for when we were in our homeland. So not to say that this can't pertain to us in this time, because we may have brothers and sisters that may have gardens. You know, a vineyard is similar to a garden where you grow vegetation and crops and so on and so forth. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 24, and it reads, "When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes." Salakia. "Then thou mayest eat grapes thy field at thine own pleasure, but thou shalt not put any in thy vessel." Meaning the Most High God is letting us know, if you have your brother or your neighbor and you go into his garden, it's saying that, guess what? You can eat if you're hungry at your field. But don't start chopping off large amounts and then putting it in your crate. That's where you're going off. You know, that's you being greedy. That's you getting dishonest gain. That's what the Most High God said. He draws the line. Verse 25, "When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbor, then thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move the sickle into thy neighbor's standing corn." Read that again. "But thou shalt not move a sickle into thy neighbor's standing corn." Meaning it's okay for you to pluck and eat the ears of the corn if you're hungry, like Christ and them did. But it's not okay for you to go and start chopping down those things, putting stalks into your basket. You know, this is what Christ was referencing on the Sabbath. You know, that's where it goes into work. You know, and it's not lawful to do good on the Sabbath. That's where that doesn't apply. You know, so remember, these laws are for us to stick together as a nation, meaning what's mine is yours, you know, and that's us looking out and loving one another as we love ourselves. You know, so even like I put in our, hey, don't be devoured by these spirits, 1 Peter 5 and 8. Yeah, that's a great precept for the week. It should be a precept for every day. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that brothers and sisters can meditate on in 1 Peter 5 and 8. And meditate on loving your brother as you love yourself, brothers and sisters. We say with that, we give all honor and praise to the Most High. Love you, brothers and sisters. Hope y'all have a great week until the Sabbath day. Pray for the destruction of these nations, man. Pray that the Most High God bring judgment on this planet Earth, and pray that he send Christ back. Pray that you get your spirits in order. Pray that you are overcoming these spirits, man. With that, we give all honor and praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Shalom. Yeah, brother Jose, that's what that was the whole year. Listen to the whole spiel. It is lawful to do well on the Sabbath. That was the whole point, brother Jose. House of Brother Daniel better ask Houston, Sister Mary Houston, Shalom family. Yes, it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath, Brother Jose. Where was you at? That was the whole spiel, even when Sister Susanna asked about that, going into that Matthew chapter 12, verse 1 on down to verse 12. That's where you can use Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 25. It's another precept I was looking for too. I have to find it. But yeah, that was the whole point.